Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us. We were just in executive session, so we're reconvening. At this time, I'd like to introduce our new student representative, May McGrath. She'll be joining us this year. She was hand-chosen as she's a political science poli-sci?
Yes.
Interested in poli-sci. She's a senior here at Haldane. And I'm going to have May speak a few words, and I'll then talk about May's role on the board.
I think Miss Hammond pretty much summed it up, but my name's May. I'm a senior here, and I intend to study political science in college. So when Miss Sniffen asked me if this was something I'd be interested in, I thought it would be a really good opportunity to learn some more about local politics.
Great. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. So this year we decided to try something different, and we thought it'd be great to have a student representative representing the students of Haldane. So May's role would basically be a non-voting member. She will only have access to the public content, and we're happy to have her, and I think it's going to be a great asset that she can be the liaison between the students and the board. So thank you very much for taking on this role. With that, I think we're going to turn to Dr. Bowers for her superintendent report.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. We have a number of things to report on. The first is on Friday, October 6th, we had our first of 4 lockdown drills, and we're just reminding the community that the New York State Education Department last year approved a new mandate or a requirement that school districts run 4 lockdown drills throughout the year. This first lockdown drill, we did invite the police dogs in, and they were with us in both the high school and the middle school. Some lockdown drills may have the dogs, others will not, but we have 3 more to go for the rest of the year. This past Wednesday, November 1st, we had a superintendent's conference day, and we had kind of an interesting superintendent's conference day, and Leah Horn is here, and she actually did all the coordination for our superintendent's conference day. We did something unusual because we had Edutech, which is the company that works with our technology, and they came into the building to put in new Wi-Fi for all of the buildings, but they got through the high school and just part of the middle school is what they were able to do. And we are using our Smart School Bond Act money from last year as we applied and were approved. The funding is now coming in, and we're really upgrading our infrastructure. So this was the first of 2 days where they're going to be switching over the Wi-Fi. And the Veterans Day, which is this Friday, will be the second day that Edutech will be in, and hopefully they'll be able to turn over all the Wi-Fi hotspots at that point. So because we had this change, we didn't have any internet or ability to use our computer systems outside the district. So we actually did a team building and wellness and culture building day, and we went to the Sharp Reservation. And we had activities and many different types of activities that range from wellness activities to teachers going on the high ropes and the low ropes courses. We also had we had cooking, we had meditation, and things that just can keep people healthy and happy. So that's part of our goal this year, is to create the most positive culture we can. And a lot of the activities that we did on the first will now go to the students, and the students will now be looking into the wellness activities and both yoga, meditation, and other forms that we had that day. So it was a fun day, and thank you, Leah, for all your help. We have tomorrow evening, we are going to be hosting the Nelsonville Town Board will be coming here. Originally, we thought we would be going to the Nelsonville Town Hall, but they actually called this morning and asked for it to be held here. There is a proposed cell tower that is at this point under discussion in Nelsonville, and I sent a letter. I had conversation with the mayor last Friday. We actually spoke a couple of times, and I sent a letter yesterday to let all the community members know of the proposed cell tower. So we are looking at the potential of having a cell tower literally placed in the backyard of the Haldane School District. And the piece of property that it would go on is directly behind the ambulance corps. So the proximity to the district is a real concern. I sent a letter outlining our concern about having a cell tower that's a 120-foot cell tower that literally sits next to the school district. And we looked at some of the research, and we looked at some of the potential problems that could be created due to the types of radiation that are given off, and it's very inconclusive at this point. We don't know if it is necessarily a danger, but more researchers are starting to raise the red flag with radio frequency radiation. And so we have petitioned the Nelsonville board and asked them not to place it directly behind the school district. And so enough people have responded to the letter and have responded to the Nelsonville Town Hall that they will be coming here tomorrow night, and we will be hosting their meeting here. So if anybody in the community would like to join us, it will be at 7 o'clock. It is the monthly meeting that they are having, but again, it's just been placed here. So it is, tomorrow is the 8th, and at 7 o'clock.
Do you
So-
know how the residents of Nelsonville, like, how do they feel about it? Specifically, the ones that live, like, probably right underneath, where it sounds like this house is, like, right underneath it.
Yeah, and they were the ones that contacted us
Oh, okay.
to get our energies flowing in the
Oh,
same
okay.
direction.
Okay.
And although it was a proposed location, we didn't understand how probable it could be until we had a number of Nelsonville residents ask us to get involved, which we did. And I know that Laura was also asking for us to take a look and see where our attorneys suggested the school district be in this decision. And they were very supportive of the district getting involved because our role is to protect our kids. And so, the attorneys know that we reviewed the letter. They know what the letter said before it went out to the public. So we're hoping we get a good crowd of people, and it's people that don't necessarily live in Nelsonville. It's parents of the 900 or slightly under 900 students that go here. They need to know that there's a potential of ongoing radiation that's coming out of the cell tower. So that's something that we will be looking for. Okay, so we are also hosting a brunch on November 19th, it's a Sunday, for all the volunteers that helped to build our concession stand. And we will be sending out invitations to all of the volunteers that put their time and energy and effort and money into creating our wonderful concession stand and press box. And we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony at the end of the brunch, which will be at 1:30. So if anybody would like to join us for the ribbon cutting ceremony, it will be at 1:30 on the field, and prior to that, we will have invitations going out to the volunteers. So we wanted to let you know about that. We also have a Board of Education workshop meeting on November 20th, and we're specifying the 20th, which is a Monday evening. It is not a Tuesday evening. It is the week of Thanksgiving, and since our vacation begins on Tuesday afternoon, we have moved the meeting to Monday night. And so it is a workshop, and we will be having conversations about our new website, and we are presently building a new website. We are also inviting in the ClearGov presentation. It's a company that really presents very well-packaged understandings of the district and all the data that's related to the district in a format that will be helpful for our community to go onto our website and take a look at some of the data that's directly related to Haldane. And they will be sharing the information and the information that could potentially be placed on our website that night. So we welcome anybody who would like to come in to take a look at that. We also are continuing our conversation with Monolith Solar. Our attorney has been involved and has sent multiple letters to Monolith regarding our solar panels, and we still are not hearing back. So our attorney is continuing on and will begin to talk about the type of litigation that could potentially occur if they don't respond. I will also be contacting NYSERDA, and we will be discussing the fact that they are not living up to their part of the bargain. And we had a situation here that they're not rectifying, and they're not being responsible in their reaction to us. So we'll tell you more when it happens. And that's what I have.
Do we know, like what would happen, like, I mean, it's possible that they're not being responsive because they're being negligent. It's also possible that they're not being responsive because they're going out of, like, there's, I don't know.
Well, the last time I did have communication, I did say if I hadn't heard from them by a specific time and day, that I would be contacting NYSERDA.
Right.
And they almost immediately responded.
But they haven't responded now.
But they haven't responded beyond that. But so now I'm not making the threat about calling. It's just time to do it.
Right.
They're just not doing what they need to do for us.
Right. Right.
And one of the papers, I forget which one, but one of them contacted Monolith Solar for some comment.
Right.
Oh, good.
Because we were commenting about it at a board meeting. And I believe the paper reported that they just kind of benignly said, well, if the school lives up to their end of the bargain, we're fine. So they did comment. So that means that they do respond to certain inquiries.
I guess, and I can't remember if we talked, I mean, if they don't respond, I guess I don't know, and maybe none of us know, like what the I guess I don't understand what the potential possible outcomes are, right? At this point, there's certain things certainly know what we want them to do in order to bring those panels back online. But if we don't have any response from them, they own the panels. I don't know what the worst case.
Well, they're renting our roof.
Right.
What
They're renting our
Roof.
roof, and we have a contract with them, so it's a breach of contract, I would think. But that's
So-
where Mike comes into
Yeah.
play.
And maybe we should have Mike come for
I
a
think
conversation.
that would be useful, yeah, to have to play out the different scenarios, because I don't. Yeah, that would be useful.
So we'll call him and maybe we can have him visit us at the next business meeting.
Sure. Okay. This time, is there any communication from the public? No, not yet. Okay. All righty. So we'll move on to the consent agenda minutes. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, these are the minutes from the October 3rd and 17th meeting. Is there any discussion? Nope. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, also on here are the information reports that we will approve at our next business meeting for your review. And we'll move on to the consent agenda financial that we're going to be approving. So may I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Discussion? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda personnel. May I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we received an email correspondence from a student, Hudson Lovell, regarding a long jump pit, the possibility of installing a long jump pit. And this is where May can really be a valuable asset in working with students and trying to come up with ideas and presenting to the board. So I suggested in my response to Hudson that he can feel free to come to any board meeting, but also we can utilize May at this point to help facilitate some of the conversation and discussion. So this may be one of your first projects.
Okay.
That you can speak with Hudson about and coordinate and have him come to a meeting. And
Okay.
I think that's,
And would there be an appropriate, I loved this email from Hudson. I thought that it was so great that a student was reaching out about a concern or a question, and he did so respectfully and pleasantly, and it was great. But honestly, my first thought was, what's the chain of command here? Like, has he spoken to the athletic director, the superintendent? Like, is this really an issue that would come to the board? And do I just not know the background? Has he already spoken to the athletic director and the superintendent, and now he's coming to the board as like the next step? Or is this his first step?
I think this is his first step, and when we received the copy of the email, we sent it to Mr. Salem and to our principal. And
we actually had, I think he had copied them, so I wasn't sure if he had already had the conversation with them.
But part of it
But
is good. It's part of this
yeah.
is an educational experience, and you know what to do when you have an interest in finding something. And it's great that he reached out, and
Yeah.
that's all part of it. So we can.
Good. So the athletic director and the principal, they're in the
Mrs. Sniffen
picture,
knows and-
responding and dialoguing.
Right.
Very good.
Well, and actually, that's a good thing for May to know, that when people from the community come to us, right, with, I would like to see this thing happen or this thing happen, it is the role of the board to recommend and suggest that people follow the appropriate chain of command, and that would be Chris and,
And Julie,
and Mrs. Sniffen,
and then me.
and then Diana.
Okay. Very good. Any additional communication from the public? Nothing? Go ahead. Sure. This should be easy.
I haven't done this in a while. Hi, I'm John Shapisi. I teach Spanish and French middle school, high school, and I just wanted to thank the board on behalf of the World Language Department for considering Bruno Rivero for the International Middle School Club, because we've always had the high school club, and we didn't want to exclude our middle school students. We want them to get excited about language. So I wanted to thank you on behalf of our department for giving us that opportunity to include those students in a club like that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I was just thinking, Laura, it might be, I wonder if it would be a good idea for us to just have this, like, how Monolith Solar has unfortunately been this ongoing item that we talk about every month. I'm wondering if that, in the unfinished business, that we should put, like, Superintendent Search update, even if we don't really have anything to just as kind of like something to keep in the conversation. I don't know how everyone feels about that. Not that we have that much to update the community about right this second, but we could share that we were meeting tonight about next steps, and just kind of keep it present.
Sure.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's a great idea. And as the beginning, we may not have so many details, but as the process develops, I would assume more details will come about, and we'll have more discussion. So, yeah, as of right now, we really don't have much further to discuss, except that we are working with BOCES to continue to develop the process, and we will be meeting with them again prior to our next meeting, and we should have more information at that point. So that was about.
That's it. It's not
yeah.
an exciting update.
It's not really an exciting update, but
But we're still working on it.
yeah,
It's in the
it's not.
process.
It's in the process.
It's not like we
It's
forgot
never
about it.
stopped. Actually, it's
last
just been
meeting,
constant.
meeting.
But there's really hasn't been any new additional developments. So, okay, if there's no additional communication from the public, we're going to move on to new business and, oh, sure, go ahead.
So in regards to the superintendent search, when was that? Like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? I had an opportunity. Laura and I had an opportunity to talk, and so I was wondering if there's been any discussion as far as what it might look like to have the other stakeholders like the teachers, parents, community members. Like what role they might play in the search for a new superintendent.
Sure. I think that's still part of the process, and that was a conversation that we all had again in executive session.
Okay.
And we're still trying to iron that all out and include the search firm, BOCES, in that
Okay.
discussion. We've had some preliminary discussions, but haven't come to any definites.
Okay. All right.
Just yet. So
Fair enough.
Sorry, we can't give you any more
That's okay.
details,
That's
but maybe
okay.
at the next meeting we'll have some more.
All right. Sounds good.
So,
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Okay, new business.
Okay, the first item is the CSE, CPSE recommendations, and the recommended action is that the Board of Education approves the recommendations by the Committee on Special Education and Preschool Special Education as indicated.
Have a motion? All those in favor?
No, I can do this. I'm sorry. The next item is the approval of the Board of Education goals, and the recommended action is that the Board of Education approve the attached goals for 2017-2018.
May I have a motion?
Motion? Second?
Okay, so these are our board goals, and just, they're going to be on the website once they're approved. But just to give you sort of a sneak peek of what our three main goals are this year, we're going to, obviously, our first goal is to lead the district through the new superintendent search. Our second goal would be to monitor the proposed bond referendum. And lastly, review of the district's policies and procedures. So if there's no further discussion, comments?
I just want to say that sometimes usually we get these goals out in October, but we had to kind of reassess our goals once we knew that Diana would be retiring. So that is why the goals are a little delayed, because we had to rework them a little bit. Because, as the body of the goals state, and I hope people take a chance to read them, but leading the district through the new superintendent search is our first goal because it's the most important job of a Board of Education. It's really our topmost charge, because the superintendent really then sets the vision and the standard for the rest of the school. It's top down. So it's a really big job, and it's something that we take very seriously and that we'll be working very hard at all year.
Yes, thank you for noting that, Jen. Sure.
I mean, there's also a difference. So since the strategic plan was first implemented, that has been one of our goals, is to support the implementation of the strategic plan. And we talked about, like, it's well underway. I mean, we actively decided not to include it as a goal, not because it's not one of our goals, but it's actually, the strategic plan is underway. We continue to follow all the different, making sure that all the different pieces of the strategic plan are being followed and implemented. The bond referendum is not quite related to that, but certainly, making sure, one of the components of the strategic plan was the thinking about the physical plan and what we needed to support kids being, getting the best education that we can offer. So anyway, it's not on there, but it doesn't mean that we don't care about it. We
Somehow
continue.
incorporate it
Yeah.
into all of our goals.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
No matter.
Yeah.
That's
And I believe we talked to Dr. Bowers about it, and we said, we're considering, it was like a thing, right? We're considering not putting it on our goals this year. And, and Diana was like, well, I'm still putting it on mine. And we were like, okay, good. So it's still on Diana's.
Yeah.
So we know it's still being taken care of.
Right.
But we just had to reprioritize a little bit with ours. Yeah. And then, Dr. Bowers, you send out your next kind of is like your goals.
Now that they've been approved, then I will
Right.
follow up, and so it flows from you. And so that will be included.
great. So we didn't do the, all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Any additional communication from the public? Giving you lots of opportunity here.
I'd like to let May know that this is atypical.
Oh my God,
This 7:30 stop time. Do not get used to this. This is atypical.
Although we've been here since 6 in executive session, so, yeah. So, with that said, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a record.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty much a record.